So quick recap. Leadership is found in nature. The eagle, the lion, examples of what leadership is. The sheep, example of what leadership is not. Leadership is also found in nature in the sense of we see the cyclical seasons of spring, summer, winter, fall. Even in the cosmos, and we have seasons in our lives. And knowing when those seasons are. There's seasons for when a woman can ovulate. There's seasons in our lives for when we can physically, supernaturally, birth things that are on the inside of us. There's certain seasons where you're just at your best. And leaders have the ability to understand, which basically means the understanding about opportunity. They know when their best moments are, they know when other people's best moments are. They know some people work better in these situations, so they move them and shift them into those positions. They see opportunity, and they're able to seize on it. That move flows rightly into time. Leaders understand time. They understand you can't necessarily always, I don't think anything always is effective all the time. They understand this is the moment that the market is ready for. This is the moment that the country or the world might be ready for. I don't know if Mark Zuckerberg's idea would have been so successful 15 years ago. He understood this is a timing. I don't even know, because this goes back to leaders understanding timing. They understand that they are not, Isaac Newton said, if I've seen farther than others, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants. We forget that a lot of times because we look at certain people and say, well, they created it. Well, but every creation had a predecessor. Facebook is the successor, though it was much more successful. It's the successor to MySpace. See, MySpace was preparing the ground. For those people who were on it then, it was something called Black Planet. It's dead now, but that was the thing at the time. People would get on here and say this, and that. It was preparing the ground for you now to live in a social media world. And Zuckerberg understood the timing. He understood this is the time for this to drop. People are ready for this now, because there's been other things that prepared us for this place. Ted Turner understood timing when he created CNN. You know, we take that for granted now, but CNN, people thought that that was the craziest idea. Nobody's going to watch the news 24 hours, because before him, there was a news hour. You know, you got the news at prime time, you got the news at 7, you got the news at 6, you got your local news, and you got your national news. It was not this sense of this 24-hour news cycle. But Ted Turner understood timing. He understood people are ready for this. And you want to know, as quiet as it's kept, what made CNN was the O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah.
Because, so people wanted, because, so some news, the reason why there wasn't a demand for 24-hour news is because we could wait till 6 o'clock. Okay, so you told us something we didn't need to. But O.J. Simpson trial changed that. Because now, people needed to see everything. People wanted to see when he was driving in the Bronco. So who brought it to you live? CNN. Whereas other programs had to break into their regularly scheduled broadcast, we're here. We're going to be here all day. We're going to watch the Bronco go all the way down the highway. We're going to watch when he goes to jail. We're going to watch every motion and move of the trial. And so that trial timing allowed his vision. You see where I'm bringing it all together? The vision he had in his mind of a 24-hour news network to work perfectly. He understood this was the time for this to happen. Because before, it may not have worked. And then lastly, leaders understand the essence of people. And I want to go back really quick, because this kind of goes back to timing and even opportunity, before I get to this right quick. Timing and opportunity. If you're not careful, what begins to happen is you'll rest on your success from before and not see the shift in the time. I gave you examples before, companies that could not reposition themselves. Kodak, Blockbusters did not reposition themselves, whereas companies that did, Amazon, Burlington. So also when we talk about not being able to understand or appreciate the movement of time, you had examples like Woolworth. In 1916, now you know, Woolworth is nothing, but in 1916, every town in America that had more than 8,000 people had a Woolworth. Woolworth was huge.
All over the place.
It was the first mega store in America. Chain was everywhere. if any of you have been down to the Woolworth building, the federal probation has it now, one of the floors, downtown, and see the gold in the ceilings? I mean, this place is beautiful, and it signified what the Woolworth Empire was. Well, what happened? What happened was, slowly, the population began to shift. They did not see that. People stopped shopping in the cities and started shopping outside of the cities. They didn't understand the shift. And because they didn't get the shift, what worked for them in 1916 didn't work for them in 1980, which was why Walmart became the new Woolworth. You see the shift in timing? Because there was a shift in things beyond. See, leaders understand it's bigger than that. It was a shift in something beyond their product. It was a shift in the demographic of the country. Now, more people were shopping in the suburbs. More people were going out of town. It became more hip to say, I live in the city, I live outside the city. So now, Walmart took over. Same concept as Woolworth, but they understood the shift in time.
I love
and Walmart is still big. I mean, Walmart is still huge. But in some ways, another shift in timing happened and the internet came. Walmart didn't really capture the way they could have. Now they have a Walmart, they have this thing like Walmart, like Amazon, where you can, a Walmart marketplace. They really didn't appreciate, people are not going to be going to stores anymore, Walmart. It seemed weird to them. They didn't see the timing shift, that now things were going to happen where it was no longer going to be where we go into the store. Now we want people to, I have friends that don't even step foot in stores. I have one friend who said, I even get my toothpaste made up. I'm like, that's me.
No, his what?
Toothpaste. Because he says, I just don't feel like I have the time between work and all the other things I have going on, so I order everything off of Amazon. Who would have thought? And so then Amazon saw that the timing was shifting. Now even Amazon's talking about the drones that they want. I don't know that. But maybe they can
moving into it. Grocery shopping in a
where they can land. Exactly, because they're seeing the shift in the time. Yeah. And then lastly, leaders understand the essence of people. And again, for leaders up here, Woolworth was the leader. He was the one who created it. Sam Walton created Walmart. And Jeff Bezos, as you know, created Amazon. The leaders, there's great visionaries behind it. And then leaders understand the essence of people. They understand what makes people tick. They have high emotional intelligence, which we already talked about, is the combination of communication skills, interpersonal skills, and initiative. They understand where to place people. They understand that everybody doesn't need to be all things to all people. So maybe you're a great visionary, but you aren't necessarily hardworking. So they place you in a position where you can thrive. Leaders understand that. They understand, you know what, this person is good for this and not good for this. This goes back to the interview question. What are your weaknesses? Which is why I don't want you to say I don't have any. No, these are the things I'm not so strong when I'm working on them, because that allows me to let you know as the leader of the team, the department, the organization, this is where you can place me so I can shine. Every leader wants to know that. All of us have a position where you shine. In a position where you're not. If I put LeBron James on the soccer field, would he be a world-class soccer player? Probably not.
I don't know.
Why? Because he's in the wrong position. He's not in the place where he can thrive. And leaders understand, where can you thrive? They see in you something and say, this is where I need to move here. That was the genius of even Napoleon. When people really study his tactics, it wasn't so much that he was such this brilliant tactician, although he was. What really made Napoleon this, because there's a question as to whether Alexander the Great or Hannibal or I've even heard Errol Rommel of Germany, who was the greatest general to ever live. Consistently, time and time again, and I don't know if you know this, there are more books written on Napoleon than any other figure in history. Next to Jesus. I mean, I don't say that religiously, but a lot of books have been written on Jesus. But other than Jesus, Napoleon is the most written about character. You want to know why, I believe? He was the epitome of what a leader is, understanding the essence of people. Napoleon was so bad that even as a kid, they said when he would when he was at the military academy, he would do the snowball fights, people would follow him. He was directing that. People just wanted to show their loyalty. I don't know how much you know about Napoleon, but Napoleon it took 5 nations to defeat this man. 5 nations had to come together to beat him. They beat him, sent him away on an island. Somehow, some way, he came back. The emperor, whose family had been in power for centuries, the emperor who was the emperor or the king over there in France, I think it was I think he was the 18th, Louis the 18th. He was a descendant of Louis the 14th, the one who the Versailles Palace is named after. When he heard Napoleon was coming back, he didn't even fight him. Because his general said, oh no, we're going back to his side. So he came out of exile and got his kingdom back. Which is why they really had to get rid of him the next time. Because what they found was he understood people. People wanted to fight for him. People wanted to. It was not just, they said that when he would walk, when he would, with his soldiers, sometimes he'd get off a horse and walk with them. As a matter of fact, we don't have too many paintings of him in chariots, but we see him walking with his people. Why? Because he understood, if I can get this out of people, I can get them to follow me. If I can build, this brings it full circle. If I can unlock the greatness in you, he made farm boys believe that they were great soldiers. He made people who really didn't, some of them couldn't read, some of them couldn't write, some of them had no other talent that they knew of, believe you could change the world if you just listen to what I'm saying.